Tonight, the Western Door Paranormal team travels to Dunkirk, New York to investigate the historic Dunkirk lighthouse.
You ready? The original house and tower were built in 1826, and they actually stood on the corner of the property. In 1857, they added the third order Fresnel lens to the tower. The lens itself is 6 feet tall, it's 4 feet wide. It is the lens that makes the light magnify out into the lake as far as it does. In 1875, that tower was starting to fall down. During the Civil War, Northern soldiers were actually stationed on this property. And when they would fire the cannon, it would blow out all the windows and rattle the tower. So in 1875, they decided to take it down and rebuild it. When they took it down to rebuild it, they moved it to its present location. It was over on the eastern side of the property, and the boats coming from the west had a hard time seeing it, so they centered it into the middle of the property. In 1875, when they put the tower up where it is now, they built the Victorian house to go with it. The original tower was round. They did not like the way the round tower looked with the Victorian house, so they actually put a square tower around the outside of the round tower. The last lighthouse keeper lived here in 1960. In 1942, they electrified the light. Before that, it was an oil lamp. It used whale oil and then kerosene. When it was an oil lamp, the oil lamp went around in a circle like this. There was a mechanism up at the top of the tower that had to be wound every 4 hours to make the light go around in a circle. When they electrified the light, it became a 3-second on, 1 second off blinking light. In 1960, when the last lighthouse keeper retired, they automated the light. It comes on and off all by itself. Nobody has to be here. In 1939, lighthouses were put under the protection of the Coast Guard. Before that time, the lighthouse service was a separate entity of the United States government. After 1939, all lighthouses became the property of the Coast Guard. In 1984, it was turned into a museum. The museum itself, the house is set up like the lighthouse keeper had it between 1875 and 1960. There are 4 bedrooms on the second floor. The 4 bedrooms are a military museum. We have artifacts from Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and Desert Storm, along with a few War of 1812 artifacts. The War of 1812 actually began right on this property. There was a salt barge hiding in a creek right down the road. The salt was used in the making of gunpowder. There was a British warship called the Lady Provost looking for the salt barge. The widow Cole, who lived on the shores of Lake Erie and the creek, knew the salt barge was hiding from the British warship. When she saw the British warship coming, she got on her horse and went to Fredonia, 3 miles away, where there was a garrison of 25 American soldiers. She told the American commander that the British were coming. Of course, the American commander knew that with 25 men he could not protect the salt barge, so he was smart enough to get all the farmers, hunters, and trappers in the area to come down and line up on the shores of Lake Erie right at Point Gratiot, right over here. When the British warship stopped to let off the landing parties, he had them all fire on the British warship. The British warship thought that there was a huge garrison of American soldiers here, so he called his landing parties back. 3 of his men were injured. They headed west, and eventually Commodore Perry captured the Lady Provost in the Battle of Lake Erie. That's pretty much it for the history of the place. The ghost that we have that we talk about all the time is Charlie. Charlie was one of the friends of the lighthouse keeper back in the late 1800s. He and the lighthouse keeper went out into the water to rescue 6 children. 2 of the children and Charlie drowned. The rest of the children and the lighthouse keeper survived. One of the other lighthouse people that we have as ghost in the house is Harold Lawson. He was the founder of this museum, and he died a little over a year ago. Before he died, he always said he was going to come back and haunt the lighthouse, which he does because he messes around with the security alarm all the time. Okay. Harold died last year in March, end of March. When we came back in here in the spring to open up, the first 3 days that we came into the house, there's a security alarm right over there behind that door. Right there, see where the thing is? When you come in, you have to shut the alarm off. the first 3 days after he died, when I was in here cleaning up, getting ready for the season, I couldn't shut the alarm off. It would call the police on me 3 days in a row. Okay? I know that was Harold messing with the security alarm, because he always told me he was going to come back and do stuff, and he was one of those people who like to play jokes on people and stuff. So the first day I came in, I pressed the buttons, you know, hit the off button, it wouldn't shut off. The alarm company calls, you know, we said, no, don't call the police, we're cleaning up in here. So cleaned up all day, you know, left, security alarm worked. Came back in the next morning, unlocked the lock, went to press the buttons. Again, it wouldn't shut off. Called the security alarm on me. So I had to, you know, tell them, no, don't come in, I'm just cleaning up. So the third day, I called the security company ahead of time and said, I'm going in. If the alarm goes off, just ignore it. I came in, did the numbers on the alarm, wouldn't shut off again. So I finally said, Harold, stop messing with the security alarm. Then it worked. After that, I didn't have any problem with it. Until we had this huge concert here last summer. We had a concert till 1 o'clock in the morning. And we were open from 9 in the morning until the concert was over, giving tours and stuff. And the last tour was the band that was here. I gave the tour, they left. In order to turn the alarm on, you have to shut the one door and the green light has to come on the alarm system. So I shut the door, the green light was on, I walked over to the alarm, went to press the buttons, the green light shut off. So I'm thinking, all right, the door's loose, I'm tired, you know, I didn't hit it right. So I go over and I press on the door. I come back over, the green light's on, I go to press the button, the green light goes off before I can get the buttons pressed. So I go back over, and this time I really kicked the door and slammed the door, and it's like, come on, you know, I'm getting tired here. So I really slammed the door closed, the green light's on, I walk over, the green light goes off. So I finally said, Harold, stop messing with the alarm. I'm really tired, I want to go home, I have to come back at 9 o'clock in the morning. Please stop playing with it. Well, the green light came on. I pressed the buttons and I went home. So I know it's him. He likes to play games. He likes to tap people on the shoulder. That same day, I had a family in the house on a tour, a mother and her 2 children, her 2 daughters. We were on our way down the stairs from in the tower. We're coming down the stairs, and the mother's in front, the one daughter's behind her, the next daughter's behind her, and I'm behind the second daughter. And we're coming down the stairs, and the first daughter turns around to her sister and says, stop poking me. Now, the girl, I was behind the girl. I know she wasn't poking her. In fact, she had both hands on the railing. And she was about 4 steps higher than the sister, so she couldn't touch her anyway. So that was probably Harold also messing around with her, because he just liked to tap people on the shoulder and stuff and say, hey, how's it going? What's happening? So she was so excited because she went around and told everybody that the ghosts were tapping her on the shoulder. Okay? All right, and then the dining room, I have experiences also. This doll right here is over 80 years old. And if you look at her, she is kind of
Blind.
creepy looking. Okay? This doll always sits here. That same time we were in here cleaning, another girl and I were in here cleaning up, getting the floors cleaned, you know, getting all the cobwebs out because we had a bus tour coming the next day. So we took all of this stuff, we picked it all up, we moved it like this, put it on the carpeting, waxed the floors, waited for them to dry, picked everything back up, put it back where it belongs. The next morning we came in, this doll and the high chair were sitting in front of the window. Right
Facing
there.
out?
No.
Oh, okay.
Facing in, like
Facing
that chair
in,
is
okay.
sitting right there, right there. The whole thing was in there. The whole doll, the high chair, and everything was sitting there. And Harold's wife was here, and she came in and she said, Dave, why is the doll in front of the window? I said, well, no, why is the doll in front of the window? She goes, well, you know the doll can't be in front of the window because it's so old that the sun's not good for it. It can't sit there. I said, well, I didn't put it there. So I come in the house and the doll's sitting in front of the window. I had put the doll back here where it belonged. So she's now back here, but the one day she was there. And if you look at this rocking chair, of course it does say, please do not sit. In the morning, sometimes I find this chair like this. And if you look at the floor underneath it,
Oh yeah, you can see the rocking marks.
The rocking marks. And nobody sits in the chair, and it usually sits this way. So I don't know how that gets on there, but that is there. So you feel things in this room all the time. I tend to feel things in this room all the time. I was in here one year in February. I had to give a tour to American Legion commanders. And we're not normally open in February. So I came in, I set everything up, shut the alarm off, turned the heat on. I'm standing in that same dining room window right there, looking out at the driveway, waiting for the people to come in their cars, and I feel this presence come and stand right next to me, kind of pushing on my body. And the hair on my arm goes up like this, and on the back of my head, and I'm like, okay. So I turned and I said, Charlie, I says, I have to be here for about an hour and a half. I'm giving a tour to these American Legion commanders. I said, we'll be here for a little while, then we'll leave. I won't come back until May 1st. The presence left. All the hair went back down. I was warm again. I had to come back in April, about the 28th or 29th, to go in the basement and shut the water off. And I was the only one in the house. I came in, shut the alarm off, went to the basement door, put my key in, and I hear plain as day, get out. But I had told Charlie I wouldn't be back till May 1st. This was April 28th or 29th. So I turned and said, I'll get out as soon as I shut the water off in the basement. And I went in the basement, shut the water off, and left the house, and didn't come back till May. Okay? But I do feel things a lot of times in this room right here. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so this is the dining room, as you can see. The living room is over there, and the lighthouse keeper's bedroom is across the hall. You want to go over there. Light switch is right here.
This is the living room.
There isn't a whole lot of electricity here. There aren't too many plugs. So if you're looking for plugs, there is one right here. There is one in the dining room under the dining room table on the floor.
Okay.
There's one in the kitchen. So if you need plugs for any reason, that would be, I'll tell you where they are. This is the lighthouse keeper's bedroom right here. This room, every once in a while, you'll hear noises coming from the piano, like somebody's playing the piano.
Okay.
You know, some of the different lighthouse keepers' pictures are on the piano. This is Peter Dempsey here. He actually bought that clock for his wife in 1887 as a gift. So that clock belongs to him. His family comes periodically. This is Henry Severance. And one time we had a little girl in here, and she goes, Mommy, that man's standing down the hall. And she was pointing to him. And he's been dead since like 1870 something.
So these are all ex-housekeepers?
These are lighthouse keepers.
Lighthouse keepers?
Yeah. Most of them are. He was the groundskeeper. This is the last man that lived here in 1960. Okay.
So Henry, Peter?
Yeah, Henry and Peter. This is Gannon. What's his first name? Can't think of his first name. The other one, that's Mr. Arnold there. I think this is Landis. I'm not sure if that's Landis or not. Oh, this is Landis right here. And he was the groundskeeper in the 1960s. After the lighthouse keepers moved out and they retired, and the Coast Guard took over the property, he came and like maintained the yard and stuff like that.
You know his name?
George Burns, but he's still alive.
Oh, he's still
Okay,
alive.
he's still
Okay.
alive.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, I wouldn't think he'd be around. Okay. The wedding dress is made out of 2 World War II silk parachutes, and it was actually worn by 4 local sisters. One of the women, her husband was on our board. He died last year. So, and he used to like to come in and talk about the wedding dress and stuff. So you kind of wonder if maybe he came back and is visiting.
His name is?
His name is Art.
Art.
Art, yeah. These are the 4 sisters. This is what they look like today. Okay. This guy brought home 2 parachutes in 1945 when he was coming home on a 30-day leave to marry his girlfriend. All right. She had 2 weeks to have them made into the wedding dress. So she took them to a local seamstress. Local seamstress made that dress. The decorations on the dress are actually apple blossoms that were waxed and sewn on in 1945. Okay, so then her sister Geraldine was getting married in February of 1947 to Frederick Fuller. Now, this man has passed away, this man has passed away, and then her third sister Bee wore it when she married Art Lamb. He passed away. He was the one that was on our board. Okay, he passed away just last year. The other two have been dead for about 5 or 6 years now.
Okay.
Right, and then their youngest sister Mary wore it when she married James Harrington in 1953. He's the only one that's still alive of the 4 husbands, but all 4 sisters are still alive. But we kind of wonder if maybe Art is here.
Art.
Walking around.
None of the other two, just Art.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Art was on the lighthouse board. He was
Board.
one of the people who started the museum,
Okay.
and he used to like to be here, and he was good friends with Harold.
Okay.
So, you know, you
Art
think
and Harold were
sometimes.
friends?
Yes.
And who's Harold again?
He's the man who started the museum, Harold
Okay.
Lawson.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the Victrola over there. Sometimes the Victrola will play when you wind it up and start it. Sometimes it will not. Okay, you have to wind, you know, have you
Yeah.
ever seen a Victrola? Okay, you have to wind it up like this to make it work. And then there's a little knob right here that you have to
glass records on them.
you have to turn this switch to make it work. And
Okay.
sometimes when you do that, it shuts itself back off so that it won't stay. Sometimes you have to kind of hold it to stay in now. It'll play now. But sometimes I can't get it to stay. It just keeps going
Now,
back.
is it playing on regular records or is it playing on glass records?
78s.
78?
Okay? Is that a regular record or is that a glass record?
Well, glass records were the big ones, you know. It works, no matter
Okay.
what.
I don't know. But sometimes I can't get it to play at all. Other times I have to keep pulling on the thing to make it play. But it does play, so periodically. So that's
That's music to
Art
listen
and
to.
Harold.
Oh yeah, I bet. If you're killing somebody.
Art was one of the
okay.
members of-
If you want to go up to the second floor, that's our military museum upstairs. So we'll head up the stairs.
Nothing at all. Not really.
Okay, these are the 4 bedrooms. The children all slept upstairs. This room right here is our marine room. We have World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam here. That's a 30 caliber World War II machine gun right there. This bag was carried through World War II by this man right here. He wrote on the outside of his bag all the places he had been stationed, so that if his bag came home and he did not, people would know where he had been. His family could follow his tour of duty. He did get out of World War II, lived until 1993. Okay, we have C rations. We have a Japanese knee mortar from World War II. We have MREs. The uniforms were all donated by local people. So when you look around, we have lots of different ones. As I said, this is Marines. The next room over here is Navy. Harold and Art were both on LSTs during World War II in Korea. So we have the Sullivans.
Now, is there any activity in that room over there that you're aware of?
Once in a while, you'll smell like peanut butter up here. I don't know why you smell peanut butter, but you do.
MREs.
Uh,
MRE peanut butter was pretty much a staple in the MREs because I was in the military for 10 years.
okay. Yeah.
I know I don't
the one
look it,
can,
but-
the one can of C rations in there is peanut butter, but the can's not open.
Right.
You also sometimes will smell like that cherry cigar pipe tobacco
that's
smell
yeah.
up here. You know, around like downstairs and around the hallway and
And who
stuff.
was that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea, but you will we'll be walking along and all of a sudden you kind of like smell that cigar smell or that pipe smell.
Okay.
And I don't know, I would assume probably most people back in the 1800s
Smoke the pipe.
smoked a pipe or something, you know? That I really don't know. But Harold and Art were both in the Navy.
In the Navy.
In the Navy, and they were both on LSTs. This is an LST right here. So this is a room I would assume that they would probably appreciate. Okay. We do have like pieces of planking from the USS Alaska and planking from the Hornet. We have Civil War items in here. Lots of different pictures of battleships and stuff. There's actually another building with more artifacts from the Navy. Hallway is dedicated to Vietnam. The missing soldier ceremony here. Now, every once in a while you'll come up and the silverware will be turned like that on this table. Okay. This is our Army room. Desert Storm, World War I, World War II, and Korea. Okay. Lots of uniforms in here, lots of artifacts from World War I. This man was actually captured by the Japanese in World War II. He spent 3.5 years in the Japanese slave labor camp. He lived to be 92. Those are all the medals he earned. This is a signaling cannon off of a ship that called the Oswego that sank in Lake Erie in 1867. I'm trying to think, what else do we have here? German medals from World War I and World War II, including an Iron Cross. We have some here and some over there.
Now, is there any activity in this room?
Yes, as a matter of fact. See this doll right here?
That's why I ask.
I forget sometimes. Last year, I was standing right here, and Brian was one of the kids who was working here last year, volunteering, was standing right there. And some people that were on a tour were going into the next room right there. Okay. And we were talking about, telling them about the ghosts and stuff like that. And he's standing there, and I'm standing here, and we're talking. The hat, this hat, flew off this doll's head and landed down there. And I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and he saw it. We both turned it at the same time and said, "Did you see that?" I was like, "Yeah." And we've like, you know, you jump up and down. The doll doesn't move. I have no idea how the hat got onto the thing. And you can't open the container to put it back on.
And it wouldn't be a normal thing for people to be jumping up and down
No,
here anyway.
I mean, we
during
were
a
just,
tour.
but we were just,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, whatever it
people-
took to try and debunk it, yeah.
And the hat is not even glued still down there, so when you jump around, this thing's actually moving.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
the hat move when he was doing
It
it.
wiggles when you do that, but I mean, when you look at the other hats,
Yeah, I was looking at them.
you know, they're pretty tight on their heads. It's
And you-
not like
Can't open them, they're silicone
no,
shut.
they're silicone shut, so you
Okay.
can't open them to do anything. So
No.
I keep waiting for the hat to be put back on his head.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you were jumping around
Yeah.
like that. Even with a crowd of people walking by,
It
it's
wouldn't
still
do
not
it.
going to come off.
No.
They'd have to be
No.
rocking this place for it to
Yeah.
happen.
And it wasn't. And a couple of people had walked through that door, but he and I were both standing here like this, you know, just kind of chatting.
That's weird.
And it flew off, and it was like, you know, out of the corner of your eye, you saw it flying down. It's like, okay. So, I guess that would be the activity I've seen in this room.
That's significant.
So
Okay.
peanut butter smell and cherry pipe smell.
Yeah.
That fell off in here.
Yep, and then we have our Air Force room. Okay, don't get a lot of activity in this room. However, we do have the creepy man in the corner.
That's not creepy.
Oh,
That's not that creepy. We were just at the Palmyra Museum. They have nothing but mannequins in that place.
Yeah, but when you come in here and it's dark,
Oh,
and you
yeah,
flash
yeah.
the light, the way his eyes look,
he's like he's saying. So how you doing?
he is the creepiest looking thing. People come in here all the time and go, that.
He's looking at Chelsea.
We also,
Yeah.
we also tell him that she's hiding from him because he keeps trying to date her and she doesn't want anything to do with him, so she hides in the corner over there and he's in the corner over here. And that's why he doesn't have a finger, because she broke it off. That's what he tells people all the time on my tours. This is an aerial bomb from World War II right here. That's what they dropped out of the airplanes like that. Okay? And if you were on one of those airplanes, you had to do 25 bombing raids before your tour of duty was over. If you made it through all 25 successfully, you got a certificate that says you were a member of the Lucky Bastard Club. Because you were extremely lucky to have made it through all 25 bombing raids. Actually, the rate of getting one of those certificates was like 5%. The other 95% either died, were captured by the Germans, or injured, and didn't make 25 bombing raids. We have leather bomber jackets right over there. We have World War II suitcases. We have the Air Force portable phone, which is the beginning of all the cell phones we carry in our pockets today. You know, no pictures, no pictures, and no texting, no internet. You know, all you could do is talk on it. The life jacket that's right there, all the Air Force people wore those. You actually had to blow that up by hand. You had to put that little tube into your mouth, go.
So let's hope there wasn't an emergency and you had to break that thing out immediately, like by a cartoon or something.
Once you blew it up, it was called a Mae West. Do you know who Mae West is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know why it was called a Mae West?
I can speculate, but I'll let
Because
you
when you
enlighten me.
blew it up, it made you very busty.
Busty.
Who's Mae West?
See?
She
Why
was
don't you
an
come up and
actress in
see
the
me
30s,
sometime?
40s, and 50s.
You know
She
who
was
Mae-
extremely
Come on, dude.
busty.
Do I really look that old?
I have no idea.
You need to research that, you. She's like Mae West is basically the original diva.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
And she was extremely, she used to say, come up and see me sometime.
That was her big thing.
And
yeah.
if you watched Bugs Bunny cartoons,
He would dress up like Mae West.
his girlfriend, he had like a girlfriend who was real busty.
Babs
and kinda
Bunny, I think it was.
Sexy, and she'd wear red lipstick and stuff.
I know.
It's not Roger Rabbit.
No. But anyway, that would be called the Mae West. All right, we can go to the tower now,
Ah, the tower.
which is where probably.
What did I miss downstairs? Sorry for.
Huh?
I had to get.
There are 55 steps to the top of the tower,
Okay.
where we're going. We have them,
55 steps, ladies.
They are spiral. If you don't like heights, you could have a problem because there are holes in the steps, so it's open all the way up and down. If you're claustrophobic, lots of people get bothered by that. Okay? Now, one day when Brian, the kid that I was upstairs with,
Volunteering with
yeah,
Fletcher.
he was on a tour. And when we're on tour, of course, we have the doors open like this, and the lights are usually on. Well, he and the people started going up the steps, and all of a sudden this gate closed on them like this. He could not get it open. It was not locked, but he could not get it open, and he was standing inside here pulling on this with all his might, and he couldn't get it open. Finally, one of the other guides happened to come in the house and came up to the gate, and the two of them pulling opened up the door.
Harold playing a joke, maybe?
I think that was before Harold was dead.
Oh, okay.
That sounds like Charlie or Art.
Probably. Well, Art wasn't dead then either, because
Charlie.
Art died right
Charlie.
after Harold did. So it was probably Charlie
Or a pirate or a
somebody,
British.
I don't
anything.
know. But he couldn't get out, and the people were behind him, and they couldn't open this gate. And this gate shouldn't close by itself.
No, it's
You
a
know,
heavy.
It's a
metal
pretty
gate.
heavy metal gate. It shouldn't do anything. So how it closed, I wasn't here that day, but the two people told me the story. All right. There was a dumbwaiter actually in the tower. Between the two towers, this is the round tower, there's the square tower around the outside. They use the airspace between the two towers as a dumbwaiter to carry all the things up. So they did not have to carry everything up and down the stairs. Are you okay? You don't have to go if you don't want to. There are two landings, but as you're going up, there is a handrail right here past the window, so use the handrail.
I need this exercise.
Yeah, right?
I do this several times a day.
We definitely have to be careful.
Yeah. I think we'll keep the lights on.
Okay, when you're here, watch your head, your shoulder, and your arm, because the floor kind of juts out here, and if you're any taller than I am, you tend to bump that right there.
Go to the top.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where the dumbwaiter came out. You can see the 1826 tower in the corner of the 1875 tower in there. They just used that space as the dumbwaiter.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's a storage area right there. This is the level he had to come up every 4 hours to wind the light. When it was an oil light, there was a lens clock mechanism hanging right here that he had to come up and wind every 4 hours in order to make the light go around in a circle.
Wow. That's a lot of walking.
Okay. These are the last 10 steps, so we're almost there.
Okay.
They are a little steeper.
Yes.
They're more like a ladder. So when you're going down them, it's easier to go backwards on these when you come down these set of stairs. But you do have to watch for the support for the floor right here. And the very last step is a hinged floor. That actually closes because there's a ladder here that goes up to between the lens and the windows.
Okay.
So watch your feet. A lot of people catch their toe on
I
there.
take it this thing's pretty well secured.
Yes, it is. It's hooked on right here. Can't go anywhere, and that pulley goes into there.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Okay, yeah. He actually would put this down when he was bringing lots of supplies up. This is where he laid everything out and organized it and inventoried it. And then he'd store it in the cabinets and send anything back down he didn't need.
Okay.
Okay? There's a big white box up here. That is the computer for the National Weather Service, because we are actually the reporting station for the National Weather Service here in town.
Okay.
So the computer's right above our heads. All the instruments are up above outside.
Okay.
And there's a satellite feed that goes out to the, wherever it goes to, reports to them. So like when you go to, when you watch the news and stuff and they say the temperature in Dunkirk is, it's coming from the top of the tower.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay? So you can actually go like on our website and click on the link to the National Weather Service and it goes right to the Dunkirk reporting station.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And if you're taller than I am, you have to duck to go outside because the door hits me in the head right here.
And there's a spider coming down.
Oh yeah, there's lots of spiders. Now he's dead.
It's Halloween already.
There's lots of spiders because of the
Thank
light. It
you.
draws all the
I won't have to
mosquitoes,
hear
so the
Kathy
spiders
cry
are
like
here. The doorway is also 3 foot thick, so if you're ducking to go out, don't put your head up before you're outside.
Knockout.
That's spider
What
getting.
happened to the rest of the people?
I don't know. They should have been with us, but they're doing whatever.
Right outside.
Yeah, this is a very important part of the, when you're doing an investigation, they should be here to learn on it.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Watch your back.
Hey, easy.
Bumped your head, huh?
Watch your mouth.
Okay.
Now, if you don't like heights,
Oh, I
this is
see.
not the best place to be.
I think it's cool. Ooh, watch your head.
I
Hey,
did tell you.
Chelsea.
Okay, you guys all right?
Chelsea's gonna have a seizure.
There's a rail bar, just to grab that right there. You're okay. Okay. Sorry. If you look right across the lake, straight across, you see those red blinking lights? That's Port Colborne. It's 26 miles across the lake. Those are the wind turbines in Port Colborne.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes you can see Buffalo from here. You can kind of see some of the lights blinking on and off over there. Those might be the turbines in, is it Hamburg?
Hamburg, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, the
farthest-
windmills?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's in Lackawanna.
yeah. I think that's the red lights blinking over there. I think that's them. Then, well, you can see the lights from Buffalo. There they are, yeah. The red ones.
Yeah.
The farthest ones. I think those are the turbines for Buffalo. And if you go to the left of that, you'll see lights. I believe that's Crystal Beach over there.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Now, has there ever been any sightings of any apparitions or spirits or anything like on here traversing this? Or anything?
Not outside, but one of our other tour guides a couple years ago had her cell phone out and she was going down the stairs and she heard a noise and she took a picture and she has the vision of like the shadow of a man standing on the stairs.
Yeah, they say it might have been Charlie.
Yeah, because that was before Dick and Art, Harold and Art died. She tried to actually send it to her computer on her email,
Uh-huh.
and it wouldn't go.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She couldn't send it. It actually crashed her computer.
It's a really big spider.
There's a lot of spiders here. Yeah. If you don't lean too close to the wall, you're all right, but there are a ton of spiders up here. Okay.